All right, let's do this. We're going to break down the entire field of economics in just about 5 minutes. Let's dive in.
You ever have that feeling? You look at everything you want to buy, everything you want to do, and then you look at your wallet or the clock, and it's just not enough. That feeling right there?
Well, congratulations. You've just run face first into the single biggest problem in all of economics. It's called scarcity. And really, it's just a fancy word for a simple truth. We have unlimited wants, but only limited resources to get them.
And that is what economics is all about. Seriously, it's the study of how we, as people, as companies, even as whole countries, deal with that problem. It's the science of choice when you can't have it all.
It's kind of funny. The word economy actually comes from a Greek word that means one who manages a household. And it makes perfect sense, right? A family has to figure out who does the dishes, who earns the money, and how to spend it. Well, a society has to do the exact same thing, just on a much, much bigger scale. So, to get a handle on all these choices, economists basically look at the world through two different lenses. Think of it like a microscope and a telescope. These are our two main branches, microeconomics and macroeconomics. So microeconomics, that's the microscope. It zooms way in. We're talking about the decisions of a single person, one family, or an individual company. But macroeconomics, that's the telescope. It zooms out to see the whole system. We're looking at the big stuff, inflation, unemployment, the kind of things that affect everybody. Okay, let's do a quick pop quiz. A single company is trying to figure out how many people to hire. Is that micro or is that macro? What do you think?
Yup, that's microeconomics. Easy, right? We're looking at one single firm.
All right, how about this one? We're looking at the relationship between the country's entire inflation rate and all the money floating around in the economy. You got it, that's macro. It's a huge economy-wide thing. So remember, the big difference is always the scale. Are we looking at a single tree or the whole forest? Okay, so no matter if you're using the micro or macro lens, you've got to understand the language economists speak. And a huge part of that is knowing the difference between a statement of fact and a statement of opinion. They call them positive and normative statements. A positive statement is just trying to describe the world as it is. It's a claim you can test, with data. But a normative statement, that's about how the world should or ought to be. That's where values and opinions come into play. So if I say, higher budget deficits will cause interest rates to go up, that's a positive statement. We could go look at the numbers and try to prove or disprove it. But if I say, society ought to require welfare recipients to look for jobs, see that word ought? That's a normative statement. It's my opinion, a value judgment. So you might be wondering, how do economists test those positive statements? It's not like they can just run a giant experiment on the entire US economy, right? Well, they can't. So instead, they build models, simplified versions of reality to understand it. And we're about to look at one of the first and most important models you ever learn, the Production Possibility Frontier. The Production Possibility Frontier, or PPF for short, is this really cool graph. It's a simple idea, but it shows us a ton about economics all at once. Basically, it's a picture of what an economy can produce at its absolute maximum with the resources and technology it has right now. Let's make this simple. Imagine a factory that only makes two things, skis and snowboards. Look at the graph. If they put all their energy into skis, they can make 200 pairs, but 0 snowboards. Now, if they want to make 50 snowboards, they have to give something up, right? In this case, they have to give up making 100 pairs of skis. That trade-off, what you sacrifice, has a name. Opportunity cost. And because this line is straight, the opportunity cost here stays the same. Okay, but that straight line is kind of rare. In the real world, the PPF is almost always bowed out, curved like this one for trucks and boats. And why is that? Well, think about it. Not all resources are the same. Some people are great at building trucks, and some are master boat builders. So as you start shifting more and more truck builders over to making boats, you're going to have to give up more and more trucks for each new boat you get. It's not a one-for-one trade. That's called the law of increasing opportunity cost. And this curve is awesome because it shows us so much. See point C, right there on the line? That's an efficient point. It means the economy is using everything it's got full throttle. But what about a point inside the curve, like point D? That's inefficient. That could be something like high unemployment. We have workers, but they're not working. We could be doing better. And a point outside the curve, like E, that's impossible. For now, anyway. That's our old friend scarcity telling us, nope, can't get there yet.
I keep saying for now for a reason, because that line, that frontier, it's not stuck in one place. It can actually move. And when the whole thing pushes outward, that's what we call economic growth.
So how does this happen? Well, look at the graph on the left. The entire curve has shifted out. That means we can now make more of everything, more housing and more food. That's awesome. Now look at the one on the right. This is a bit different. Let's say we have a huge technological breakthrough, but only for making good A. The curve just pivots out on that one side. We can make a ton more of good A, but our ability to make good B is exactly the same as it was before. So what makes this line move? Well, it pushes outward when we get new technology, find more resources, or have a more educated and skilled workforce, that kind of stuff. But it can go the other way too. A huge natural disaster could destroy factories and resources, and that would actually shift the curve inward, shrinking what our economy is capable of. All right, so let's end with a real brain teaser. You've got an economy that makes two things, guns and butter. There are two political parties, the hawks, who like a lot of guns, and the doves, who prefer a lot of butter. Now, say a rival country disarms, so everyone agrees we need fewer guns. The question is, who gets the bigger peace dividend? Meaning, who sees a bigger increase in butter production from this change? The hawks, who are already making a lot of guns, or the doves? The answer is hidden right there in that curved PPF and the law of increasing opportunity cost. It's a tricky one. Think about it.